Testing, 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 testing. Oh, yeah. We live and in charge. Oh, wait, that's not in. That's one. Let me make myself small. Wow, that lighting's bad. Just gonna put that right there. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Damn wide angle lens. Perfect. I wanna feel do 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 do. I wanna get you going. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. We playing magic. It's going on. Standard rank. Magic the Gathering, Magic the Gathering. Brand, I don't care about branding. I want people to know I'm cheap. Your bit racing is please 5,000. I will. Where's the no copyrighted music? go the rest of my life without hearing that one. Let's keep that. Hi, loving your stream, but at work right now. Can you oh. I love bots. I think bots are great. They make me feel loved. One damage to my opponent. Maybe this confirms my internet is dead theory. That the internet is really just robots. Probably. You have to let. Alright, he's got a 3-2. Damn, that's gonna really hinder. Okay. And 3. Oh man. F in the chat. Thank my balls. Remember, this is testing. Developers. This is not a gaming channel. Okay. A vampire deck. Very sexy. Okay. Blood. No result. God, this sucks. A target creature, reveal the top 4 cards in your library. You may permanently put a creature token in. Yes. Oh my god, I literally got the worst fucking hand. Yeah, all this crap sucks. My balls. Alright, I'm gonna lose this one if I don't get a fucking... Sacrifice creature with flying. No flying, no flying. Great. Well, the selection is over. Trump being selected to bring new roller. Ooga Booga, probably not. I mean, beyond politics, I didn't like either. Personally, I didn't like either. Ubu. I didn't like either candidate, personally. That's just my personal take. I necessarily don't like to get political because it causes people to have a perception of you. When I tell people I don't like anyone on the right, they assume I'm a Democrat, which is retarded. Vice versa. This man's about to get sexy. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, no matter what side you vote for, it ends up being the same. That's kind of retarded, because both have definitely different opinions. Like, the left is definitely different from the right. In perspective. All I know is I want soup. Yeah, fuck you. Wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Unsexy. It could be different. When Silver Deputy enters, you may search your library. Though I do have Graphene OS content coming out, hopefully soon. Target creature control is on top of it. Result none. Wait. Oh! My bones! This is just test. I'm testing out Restream because I like the idea of being able to stream to 2 different platforms. Just in general, for more reach, more FOSS content, hopefully more Linux enjoyers. The more Linux enjoyers we get. They use problem reaction solutions. If there were no opposition, then the system wouldn't work. They're all controlled by the same people. I don't really agree with that. I think that people fundamentally have different ideas. There is no... The government's really bad at stuff. If you think that there is people that are controlling the government, you clearly don't understand how the government works. The government's really terrible. I don't think that they're intelligent enough to even people... I don't think humans are intelligent enough to make a play to control society. You really don't need... It's kind of like when people... Oh, I'm gonna lose this one. It's kind of like when people are like... There's these back doors that are here to control you and get your pussy out there, or what XYZ. It's like my dog. They don't need to do all these $1 million exploits. The government that we see isn't the actual government. It's the front of the real government. You don't see. I mean, you can say about anything. The flying car is not the actual flying. It's just kind of. Even if your argument is true, even if it is remotely possible, who cares then? Then there's no point in anything. You can just be a doomer. Oh fuck. You can just be a doomer and do nothing and not vote and not care and be mad for the rest of your life. And then, you know what I mean? Those are fundamental things that we... Again, politics is complicated, and I think people overestimate what humans actually have the ability to do. I don't think humans are this smart. I think you're giving too much credit to people. And again, even if there was like some hidden shadow government, again, then who cares? I mean, at that point, just kill yourself. You know, just kidding for the internet if you think that if I'm being literal. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Each one's over the enchantment. Yeah, fuck you. And even if there was again, humans are really bad at stuff. Even if there was like a collection of government, they're not only they're bad at it, they wouldn't be able to hide it. Humans are dumb. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. That's my perspective. I just don't think humans are that coordinated. I mean, we fuck up all the time. Someone discovered a backdoor in router firmware. Like, router firmware is like, you know. Oh, there's a scroll. I ain't resolving shit, but my balls. Okay. Fuck this guy. Elon has posted a term called something that's Latin and translated into New World Order. Just look at your back of your dollar. I don't carry cash, so I don't know what a dollar bill looks like, and I don't care what Elon Musk thinks. He's just another human. He's just some guy on the internet. My theory is don't. Again, if this is a real thing, it doesn't matter then. Acknowledging these things are real. Say there is like a new world order. Who cares? If there's nothing you can do about it. If it's this powerful and this quote unquote, if it's this quote unquote dangerous, then there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter then. I think that it's something that. Why did No! Why did Matrix? Why did Matrix? Oh no, the irony! See, Matrix started out of nowhere. And for some reason, my game's validating itself. Again, if there's this new world order, I don't care. I think that it's something that's a non-issue. It's like when people are like, "Well, I'm in the Matrix." Well, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. You don't care what Elon Musk thinks, but Trump is the president and Trump is right-hand man to Elon Musk. Yeah, I don't care what Elon Musk thinks because I don't care. And again, I'm a policy perspective. I care about policy. Policies are what I care about. Yeah, and Walt Disney did backflips in the 1930s. That's again, that's irrelevant. You know, it's like there are way worse people and way more powerful people that existed throughout history, at every stage of society. So what? What's your point? These are non-issue. Again, these are non-issues. Something that slavery happened 400 years ago. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, it's bad. There's no. All right, if you want to, if you think a social credit score is going to happen, put money on it. I'm a betting person. I like to gamble. If you think that there is going to be a social credit score, give me a date and a time, and I'll bet you on it. And send me your XMR address, your Monero address, and I'll agree with you. This is kind of like the equivalence of people that are like, what's the word? Where they're like, your phone's listening to you. All right, show me your actual proof that your microphone is listening to you. Well, they already have it in China. Yeah, they have it in China because, well, the social credit system in China is complex, and yes, China is already how do I explain? China is no shit. China has a social credit system on people that like you are affiliated with, and it affects you. That's China. Like that doesn't answer my question or my state. It doesn't even answer my statement. There are countries that have way worse laws than a social credit system that we don't adopt. There are countries right now. China was the alpha, Canada is the beta, US is fine. I think there are problems with China's ethnics, but there's countries that literally have age of consent at a very unethical way of consent, and the U.S. hasn't followed it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's countries that have worse laws in terms of ethics than the United States, and we still haven't adopted it because no one's fucking that crazy. That's the point that I'm making. Like, you can point to any country and point out the terrible shit they've done. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. This New World Order bullshit that people always float across is kind of like no difference than people say, well, your microphone's listening to. Well, prove it. If you have an extraordinary claim, you need extraordinary evidence. U.S. dollar and the social credit system will be put. Yeah, but you need to prove it. If you have an extraordinary claim, you need to back it and provide a date. Provide a date and time. This isn't being me aggro or antagonistic, but when people make, I would probably say 2 years after the Trump gets elected and when the Democrats take over the House and the Senate is where everything starts going downhill. There'll be some kind of event like the class of the U.S. dollar, and then, all right, 2 years from today, I'll put it in my notes. And this isn't me memeing or joking. I'll put it in my notes because every time somebody makes a claim, I genuinely note it down because I like to laugh about it later. Not as a haha like I think people are dumb. I think it's haha. This is something that people do all the time. They point to historic events or they point to other countries and nothing happens. I mean, this is common. Who was it? Dave Rubin. He predicted a bunch of shit that was wrong each time, and there's account for it. It's actually kind of funny. Elon Musk wore a Halloween costume, the Baphomet and the upside down cross on his chest. That's irrelevant. I'm an atheist, so I don't really care about religious subtext. Religious subtext retarded. I think if people use religious subtext to point out their argument, they would have to prove that God exists, and I don't believe God exists, so it's kind of irrelevant. Again, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. People pointed out and thought that Obama was that photo of Obama wearing like that crazy outfit. I can't remember what it was. Again, minus the political part of it. There was a really famous video photo of Obama going around where he looks like a demon, and it was photoshopped. It was fake, which was kind of funny. Again, I don't care what Elon Musk does. He's a free individual. He can do whatever he wants. He can go on social media and beat his meat a live stream for all I care. Elon Musk is about as relevant to me as as Jupiter is to me. Jupiter is not really relevant to me if you need any context behind it. I understand that in society there's privacy implications that I do not agree with and I do not like, and that I try to protect myself from. I do understand that there are political parties that I don't agree with and that I try to protect myself from. And I agree that there are issues that I will never be able to solve maybe in my lifetime, which I would like to. And that's pretty much how I see society. The reason the will word Elon Musk is considered quote and the quote of the good guy wearing again, I don't care about religious subtext or upside down cross or left cross or right cross. I think it's retarded. Like genuinely. And my point is it's a technocrat. I think that dystopian techno-capitalism is a real thing, and I think technocrat is not far-fetched. That's not a crazy idea. Elon Musk is one of the most powerful people in the public eye, and he's the front of the New World Order. People have been saying the New World Order forever, pretending that he's free. I agree that he is not for free speech, and I agree that Twitter is. This is somewhere I will agree on. Elon is not a free speech absolutist like he said he is, and I think free speech absolutism isn't a real thing. I don't think anyone, unless you're a psycho, I think there are people that do not agree with certain types of speech. Like if I made a religious joke, people would probably have that are super religious would have a fucking stroke, or say that I can't say that, or like my job would be like you're fired because you made a joke. You know that's just society. That has nothing to do with like New World Order. Social credit system, I don't think ever it's gonna happen in America. We don't really need it. We have a regular credit system that impacts your life more than anything. And hold on, not but I do agree that he's not a free speech absolutist, and that's already been proven like multiple times on his on Twitter's policy. This is why Twitter's dog shit. If you actually just want to practice free speech, just go to a protocol-based social platform like Nostr or Gemini Pods or anything that doesn't require like an infrastructure outside of your own. No, 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 no. Cancel, 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 cancel. I'm picking a different deck. And again, I don't care that Elon Musk is a rich, powerful person. There are plenty of people that are rich and powerful that are beyond Elon Musk's like wealth. Like I just don't care. I think that I think people make statements like, "Oh, X, Y, and Z is going to happen in X amount of years," and then it doesn't happen, and then they just push back. I think that it's somewhat lazy, and it's kind of like it doesn't solve anything. Even if like again in a hypothetical scenario where you're right, let's say you are right, a social credit. What are you going to do? Move to a country where it doesn't exist? According to Alex Jones, Elon Musk is the. Alex Jones is retarded, though. I don't care what Alex Jones thinks. He literally is the definition of a person that probably needs to take meds. Like in a he should probably seek therapy. I mean, if you shoot into a barrel, it's like when people are like the Simpsons predicted X, Y, and Z. It's like no shit. They produced enough content over the course of 50 plus year, whatever, how long the Simpsons have been around. They have produced so much content. No shit, they're gonna be right. That's not a crazy statement. I think that not even I think it's just like that's just how like most stuff works. And it comes to the social credit digital dollar system. It's going to be integrated across the world. There'll be no place safe. Like I said, in 2 years, if you're wrong, I'll paste my Monero address. Send me $5. Because like it's just like people make these crazy assumptions every year, every 4 years, especially when an election happens. Like what was it? When Biden got elected in the United States, everyone was like he's gonna be a communist and all our guns are gonna be taken. I had someone who literally yelled at me who was like, all your guns are gonna be gone. Well, guess what? Not true. It doesn't happen. Like again, like I didn't realistically like either politician, but when people make hyperbolic or extreme claims, they need to have you seen the Illuminati card game? The card game called Enough is Enough, where Trump is on the picture of the comment on the card saying the snipers will shoot you. Nope. And even again, let me just look that up real quick, actually. And a politician's getting assassinated early, attempted assassination. Is nothing fucking crazy. That's like the creator of the Lemony card game was an occultist, and the occultists run the world. Let me see. The 19th card game that predicted, quote unquote, predicted 9/11, Donald Trump, COVID, and the Capitol riot. These are all pictures. Hillary Clinton has been in politics for a long time. That's not crazy to see that epidemic. This is stupid. Yeah, this is retarded. This is something that I would expect from. This is something. Okay. It took me not even like 4 minutes to. Not even a minute to read that and realize that this is just someone shooting barrels with fish. If I give you 1,000 cards and have you write. Like, a pandemic happening in our lifetime isn't crazy. That's not a crazy concept. That's actually kind of like, well, no shit. I didn't think it was going to be as extreme or less extreme or whatever. Trump running in politics. Trump has been running in politics since the 90s. I just read 1999. It wasn't 1983. Unless we're talking about two different card games. Again, even if it was written in 1983, that's, again, Trump was always involved in politics and perspective. The Clintons have been involved in politics perspective. Yeah, I was just reading like what it predicted. 1980. Let me see. Yeah, it says it's a 90s card game, and it predicted, quote unquote predicted 9/11 and the quote unquote insurrection, however you want to look at it. The epidemic is irrelevant because that's, I mean, then what was the like? We had the plague. We've had plenty of epidemics before that. Called enough is enough, and has an upside down triangle, and the triangle on top of it representing the triangle. I don't care about triangles again. Like, houses are just triangles. Let me just do that real quick before I go back to. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it's the same one that I was reading. Yeah, it's in. It actually first appeared in '94. An out-of-print multiplayer game. Not so. A lot of people don't understand that, like, 9/11 almost happened prior to 9/11, but that's irrelevant. There's a story you can go read that 9/11 happened before, almost before 9/11 in the Philippines. It's a kind of a wild story that I felt. You fail to realize it's a big stage. Everything is planned decades in advance. You can say that about anything. Again, extreme claims require extreme proof. You're pointing to a card game. You're pointing to a card game. It's kind of like it's irrelevant. I can say that Santa Claus farted 20 years ago, and that's the reason the Twin Towers fell. That's, yeah. And people would call me retarded, and I would accept that because that's retarded. Not everything is a big stage. I don't think the government cares less about your existence as a person and cares less about doing this. They don't need to. People think that the government needs to hide everything. They really don't. Even though that the Patriot Act came out and it was a massive shit show, and it's a violation of a lot of problems that I think it's wrong. And saying I fail to realize something is just kind of like, I don't have enough proof. That's, in my opinion, when people say that, you just don't have enough proof. That's my conclusion. Because I can just turn that around and be like, you fail to realize that it's not a big stage, and it's planned decades advance to make. You know what I mean? That's not evidence. And a card game isn't evidence either. I mean, that's just my personal take. I'm a very skeptical person. I'm skeptical of a lot of things, but he's a trend consumer. He consumes fentanyl. I don't believe in aliens. This may come to a shock. I think aliens are made up. Well, not made up. I just don't think aliens exist. And when people make the stupid argument that the universe exists, it's ignorant to think that that's just retarded. I don't think that aliens exist at all, at any point. And if they do, they are so far away that it doesn't matter. And again, if aliens are real, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. If something actively doesn't affect me, I genuinely do not care. If aliens are real, and I find out aliens are real tomorrow, I will move on with my life, and I still won't care. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't care if UFOs exist either. If the government came out and was like, we have UFOs, I don't care. It also actively doesn't affect me. I still stand on the idea if UFOs exist, I don't care. It doesn't change my perspective. We know UFOs. We know the government makes technology beyond public perception. That's not crazy. That's not a conspiracy. That's pretty well knowledge that the government does this. For a good reason. A lot of governments do this. Every government does this. This isn't like a crazy concept. Governments do this because they're allowed to do this to protect the interest of public and stockholders and shareholders, etc. You should care if we have the technology of UFOs, because if we can get fossil fuel, then you wouldn't have to rely on government. Oh no, that's a completely separate topic. You can do that right now. You can actually just go get solar. Solar is very efficient at this point. If you actively care about getting off like fossil fuel and like that, just go solar. There's nothing wrong with it. There's enough information out there that solar is very efficient now. UFO technology is what gives us free energy. It's not a separate topic. It is a separate topic. You could do that. You could totally do that right now. You don't need any of that. You could just go solar. Solar is the most. Solar, wind. I mean, you have a couple options. Solar is like really inexpensive to get into, and it's about a 10-year payoff, and you can do most of it yourself. I went to solar mine Monero. Yeah, that would be tech support Andy. I don't know why tech supporter Andy is really a funny username, but to me it is. Yeah, you should solar mine Monero, support the Monero network and infrastructure, be based, run your own node. That'd be awesome. Oh, this guy. Like, there's, I can't remember the YouTube channel's name. He ran, I think, okay, Marcus, Big Balls, Brown. He went solar and he said it was like about a 12-year payoff. And it was awesome. I'm not saying that you need to go to his scale, and obviously he has like a boatload of money. That's whatever. But most people can actually achieve solar, like the cost of solar, very cheaply in their life. It's not as expensive as everyone thinks. The battery is kind of an issue, and you have to bring up. It's just like electric vehicles. You have to acknowledge that they're not perfect. But everything, I agree that we should get away from the fossil fuel. I mean, I'm not a psycho, and like fuck yeah, gas. Rumbly Rock deals damage to the target creature equal to the number of lanes you control. Based. I love this. Love this card. You may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand if you do so. Do you have a dinosaur? Do you have a dinosaur? Yeah, I do. I can't remember what YouTube channel did it. I think it was Vicoin, this Voscoin. I think that's who I looked at when I first got thought about doing mining, and he is like a solar Bitcoin mining machine, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Voscoin, yeah. I don't really care for his channeling where it's kind of cringe, but that's beyond the point. I think we should be able to say stuff is cringe, which is understandable. Me. Like me. But solar mining electric is a scam because it takes fossil fuel for charging. But at a fraction, of what gas pulls from, it's like less. Solar panels are only 30% efficient, and you got to have rare earth materials that other countries may or may not have. You have to have the battery technology. Yeah, there's a battery problem. The lithium, the cobalt is an issue, but the 30% efficiency, I think you are completely wrong on. I think the solar efficiency is way better than it has. I can't remember there's a YouTube channel that talks about this. Yeah, it's 41%, so you're wrong. Yeah. We're at like 40% efficiency in 2022. It's like, that's like the standard. I'm tailing cars. His channel makes me have to take a dump. Oh, electric. His channel makes me have to take a dump. That's funny. There's a YouTube channel for everything. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel for everything, but that also doesn't take away from the fact that there are people that prove this. You know, North Carolina has a vast lithium deposit, and they use it for weather weapon on. All right, I'm just gonna assume you don't understand how the weather works. Oh, how to? Yeah, no. Well, of course, there's a YouTube channel to take a dump. That doesn't matter. And who does the weather weapons? The weather the government doesn't have the ability. They don't need to control the weather. They can just nuke people. I don't know. I don't really. I think it's kind of like it's just a silly conversation. And then tech support Andy. I don't really understand this segment. Saying electric is a scam is like saying, okay, gas is a scam. I mean, you could say anything is a scam. You have to have evidence to say that something's a scam. If the government controls the weather, cool, whatever. What are you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? What is pointing out the government controlling the weather do? Nothing. Again, like it's like people make claims like this all the time, and then they realize like you can literally look up Operation Pop. Yep, I already know about it. The Vietnam, the Vietnam, the best they've done. Professor Dave does a really good debunk of this. I'm not smart enough. The most they did was made it rain. They made it rain. Again, you're making the claim, so you have to. They don't prove it in the if actually if you can they can't control my dumb salinity. That's funny. That's not true. The battery part is incorrect. I've already like priced out like a solar, and you can actually, but beyond that, it's I've priced out like a solar system that's cheaper in the long run. If you can pay it off in like 10 years, you're fine. The killed a whole bunch of people in North Carolina for their own gain. I'm gonna link you to a video by Professor Dave. And if you can actually link me to the docs that say that they can control the weather, I'd love to read through it, because I like when people make claims and then they're wrong, because it's kind of it's kind of funny. It's more or less funny to me. There is a really good video on someone, not solar, an electric car. I say electric car is a scam. Electric cars, I don't think they're a scam. I just don't think I think they're efficient to a certain degree. I think they have a use case. Everything has a use case. If you want to rely on big oil and you want to suck big oil's cock, then you're more than welcome to. Nothing prevents you from sucking big oil's cock. Because that's what it just sounds. When people dunk on electric cars and say they're a scam, I just assume they're on their knees. Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. Link me to the Freedom of Information Act. Link me to the Freedom of Information Act from the government that says that they control the weather, and I'll read it. But when people like say electric cars are a scam, I would love for them to get on their knees and open their mouth for big oil pharma and maybe their anus, and let them OPEC Plus insert it into their anus and tell me how it is, because that's what I hear. Because when you say something is a quote unquote scam, you need to prove that it's a scam. Like what's scam? How is an electric car any more of a scam than a gasoline car? Like, electric cars are cheaper by milestones than gasoline cars, just prospectively. Operation Popeye is what it's like after I smoke a Newport cig. Newports are disgusting. As an ex-smoker, I'm a Newport hater. Oh, that's a lot of land. Hybrids hybrids are great. If you say electric cars suck, but hybrids are a solution, yeah, I would agree. Then at least you have some ground to cover. Hybrids do have a problem. I watched a really cool hybrid technician break down like why hybrids kind of failed. They had for a very long period of time, and I've talked to hybrid owners. No, I like Kool-Aid. Fuck you. If you hate Kool-Aid, fuck you. I talked to a hybrid owner, and the maintenance is somewhat problematic because a lot of these manufacturers don't really put out manuals that explain like what you're supposed to do on a maintenance wise. When Earthshaker Dormant enters, draw a card for each dynasty you control. It's kind of base. Man, I'm getting a lot of these pee-pee poo-poo cards. But they explain a lot of the maintenance with hybrid cards that reduce the need, that reduce their longevity. No, it's Operation Popeye. Popeye. Yes, I know what Operation Popeye is. I'm just memeing at this point. I already read uh, the operation, and it doesn't link to anything that the government can do anything. Electric cars are used to control how far you can go with the technology. They want you in a 15-minute city. I'm okay with 15-minute cities. Fight me on it. I think 15-minute cities are great. If you have a problem with 15-minute cities, if you can explain the issues with 15-minute cities, then explain it to me. Then Europe's fucked. Europe has been controlled by the government for, because I was just in Europe not too long ago. They pretty much have a 15-minute city every country. You think walkable cities, easier access to grocery stores and commodities are a bad thing? You're insane, and you should take your meds. Surveil 1? Okay. Not involved in Newport Smoke Kool-Aid and Popeye Chicken. No, it involves Newport Smoke Kool-Aid and Popeye's Chicken. I'll read into it. Oh, you're really gonna go eat the bugs, getting your pod, and own nothing and be happy? I think it's cool if people want to eat bugs. That's fine. That's their choice. You do that now, and a 15-minute city doesn't mean you own anything less. That doesn't mean lack of ownership. Again, point to a. There are societies that have very close-knit communities and they own things. So I don't understand how 15-minute cities equal to less ownership. If you can point to less ownership, be my guest. I just want to know how that 15-minute cities eating bugs and something about pods and owning nothing even remotely correlate to each other. Because they don't. Those are like all very irrelevant. Like they're not even relevant to each other. I mean, you can do that. You don't need a 15-minute city to do any of that. You can just do that now. Why not now? Yes. Big sexy dinosaur. Why is Bill Gates and all these world leaders trying to? Because they're allowed to. That's freedom. They're literally allowed to. If you tell somebody like Bill Gates or anyone to not be able to do something, you're anti-freedom. In my opinion, if you tell somebody they can't do something, you're fundamentally against allowing someone to do as they want with their money as they want, and that's pretty problem. That's people. You're gaslighting me, or you're stupid. I'm unsubbing from you. I don't care. You're like, I don't care. It's about tracking bowel movements. I don't care who agrees with who. The world doesn't revolve around everyone agreeing with each other. That's what it makes a democratic society. A democratic society is about people not agreeing with each other. I don't care about Bill Gates. Or the world leaders saying we shouldn't have cars. Telling them to do things that take away my freedom. Okay, that's not even English, so I'm just gonna. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, if you tell people what they can and cannot do, you are fundamentally telling them they can't do as they please in a free society. If Bill Gates wants to shit on 4th Street legally, that's within his right. I don't care. I don't care about Bill Gates. I don't know him. I think it's retarded. I think it's retarded to think about him. I think it's kind of actually kind of weird to have this country wasn't a democratic side. Oh my God, we're going down the retarded, the retards that think that we're a constitutional republic. Yeah, because it's like retards that don't vote, that complain the most and say we're a constitutional public. Okay, so when I voted, I didn't vote on my state electors. I didn't vote on weed being legal in my state. I didn't vote on X. You know what I mean? My vote, yeah. That just shows that retards don't vote. That's all it is. Which is kind of funny. So how does if we're a constitutional republic and we're a democratic society, then how do bills get passed or anything? The vaccination is irrelevant to this conversation. It doesn't really matter. Learning about my history is irrelevant because it literally says it's both. It's literally both. If you think it's not both, then prove me wrong. Prove me that we're not a democracy in any way. I mean, you can't really smell over the internet, so it just kind of... It doesn't really matter. It's kind of retarded. Again, prove that we're not a democracy. Prove that there's any process in the United States that doesn't make us a democracy. That I would love to link me to where we're completely a constitutional republic, and then I'll counter it. It'll just make you look retarded. Those get passed because no one reads them. Okay, yeah, nobody reads them. 0 people. 0 people read them. It's fine to go through life and think about Bill Gates and being retarded. I mean, no one's stopping. Yes, we're a corporation. Yeah, of course. Then leave America. Nothing stops you from leaving America, man. If you think of all these things, then leave America. Like, go to a country where you have less rights and less freedom. I'm just saying. People complain more than they... Have you looked up quotes from Thomas Jefferson? I don't care about Thomas Jefferson because he's dead. I don't care about James Madison because he's dead. Their quotes are irrelevant to me. It's kind of like Martin Luther King. I don't care. He's dead. Or, who's the guy that is this guy? Dick Cheney? I don't care. He's dead. Michael Jackson? Don't care. He's dead. You know what I mean? I could just go a list of dead people that quoted stuff. I don't care. They're dead. They're irrelevant. The United States turned into a corporation when the Federal Reserve was made. All right, leave America. Nothing. People like you complain about like the system. And do nothing about it, think your vote doesn't matter, and it's like retarded. It's like having a conversation with like a 5-year-old who just found their history book. Big whoop. Go to a country where you have less rights, and tell me how it works out for you. You won't. You'll die. You'll die, or you'll be insanely poor, or your rights will be insanely stripped from you, and you'll have less. You can have less of an opinion. See, this is a proven fact of why we live in a democracy. You can criticize our government. You can't criticize your government in a lot of other countries. You criticize your government in another country, you can get executed. See, the thing is, my family's heritage is from here, and there's nowhere I can. Yeah, there actually is. Um, it's like people are like, then they make a bunch. They complain about their government. They complain about the system. They say it's and again, back to your point, it's one giant government, so it doesn't matter. So you just actually kind of you look even more dumb because you said there's a Federal Reserve. If there is if there's a government, a secret government, it doesn't matter if there's a Federal Reserve or not. And if your family heritage is here, it doesn't matter if your family heritage is here. There's a secret government. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is why people look just retarded online. They're like, there's a secret government, but my family was born here. Who cares if your family's born here? If there's this giant overlord government on the system, then you should just go move. You can move anywhere. It doesn't matter. We can, all right, like I said, in 2 years, on this day, I've already put it in my notes, I will come back and prove you wrong. Like I said, paste your Monero address in the chat, and I'll send you $50 if I'm wrong. If we've been able to criticize our government since the beginning of time, within legal reason. Saying we're a corporation, saying that we're we have but here's the thing, you go back to like we're a new world order. If we're new world order, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why it's funny when people have like these opinions. They criticize the government, but they don't do anything about it. But they say that their vote doesn't matter, but their vote matters. But there's an overruling government. But they can't leave America. Leave America, dude. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you have all these problems with America, just leave it. Go to another country and see what it's like over there. I think Edward Snowden, and during this Signs was different about that. Edward Snowden, regardless of what you think, what he did or he didn't do, he literally, I mean, he did commit treason. And all he did was expose that the NSA was spying on us. So what? I think what he did was right or wrong. It doesn't matter what I think. What I think Edward Snowden did was right or wrong is irrelevant. But he kind of just exposed what we all kind of knew. I'm not agreeing with the NSA. I think the Patriot Act was garbage. I think that the fact that the NSA is spied on its own people is garbage. I'm a huge privacy advocate. But the difference between me and the standard online schizoid is I vote. I believe that we have democratic processes that actually change our system, and I actively involve myself in protecting my privacy and increasing my security instead of complaining. And I go do things. Our governments have committed treason. Yeah, okay, big whoop. So what? Our government has done terrible things. But I actively vote, and I actively do things to change society. Instead of complaining like a pansy and saying that our country bad. Go live somewhere else where you literally have zero rights. It like angers me when I hear people make these claims and then act like a bitch and don't do anything. Go live somewhere else. That's always going to be my answer when people have unproductive like statements. It's like unproductive to think like this. If you have an issue with your country, voting doesn't matter. Go watch the movie called, again, go live in another country where go live in another country. Do that. You'll be better off. Live in a country where go live in Russia, where Putin has won every election, which is kind of funny. Yeah, go live in a country where you have no rights, and then I'll see you in 5 years. Maybe less. Voting literally does matter, though, because I've voted on stuff that has gotten passed on my local election. This is, again, a person who has probably not voted in their life and doesn't understand the process of the election process. And again, if you have an issue with our voting system, leave our country, go experience another voting system, and then I'll see you in a couple years. It's always the people that live in the most privileged country that have like the most problems and don't actually do anything about it. It's kind of funny. I think it's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna take this. Yes. You can point all these videos and these movies. I don't care about movies. Movies don't equal reality. That's all it is. And again, if you have a problem with our democratic system and our voting system, go somewhere else. See how far you make it. Nothing in the world will be more funny when you go to like a country that doesn't respect your religious freedom, that doesn't respect your freedom of speech, that doesn't respect anything. Okay, go to a country where they don't respect your freedom, your First Amendment, and they don't. Okay, we've been a country for 300 years, bro. Like it's retarded to even think that they have to tiptoe to it. All you have to do is go to a country where they... Oh, boo. This guy's... it's not a Redditor. It's just... people just... It's funny when I ask for proof. And if you have an issue... And also saying I'm a Redditor just is like kind of like a self-report. It just shows that, like, you're retarded. And it's fine. It's fine to be retarded. Nothing's preventing that. We are both. Again. And you're asking me to read the Constitution. It's called the burden of... Do you know what the burden of proof is? When you make a claim, you have to prove it. Title should be changed to a Reddit or it goes on Artistic Rant. Yeah, I'll change that. But again, you're assuming that I use Reddit, which is a self-report. You can be retarded on the internet. Case in point. Okay, let's look at it. A constitutional republic is a form of government which representative is elected to the people and govern over them according to the rules and established of the law of the land. Example of the constitutional republic is the United States in the form of government. U.S. citizens elect presidents and other representatives of the government. Definitely the constitutional republic was a constitutional republic. Some believe that the United States is democracy, but it's actually the perfect example of a constitutional republic. A pure democracy would be the form of government where the leaders are elected by the people and not constrained by the Constitution. The republic is, however, elected by officials and cannot take away or violate certain rights. People that pledge allegiance, which was written in 18 and adopted in 18. I pledge allegiance, blah, blah, blah. The Anti-Federalists and Federalists are a new nation of people formed. While citizens supposedly have to say in the government, they are to be treated as equals. The majority, blah, 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 blah. Limits on government and power. Constitutional republic is in place to prevent government from becoming tyrannical. The Constitution, the U.S. Constitution contains protections against tyranny. Constitutional republic, example, Obamacare. Everywhere else says it's both. It's both of them. The ancient Romans formed one of the most famous republics in history. Founding fathers, United States, Thomas Jefferson, blah, blah, blah. Some of a republic can be considered a representative democracy. Individual citizens who are not directly existing legislative authoritarian. This guy shill Signal and Matrix, even every tech lore thing. So first off, damn, I'm gonna lose this one. I'm gonna concede this one. First off, Signal is an end-to-end proven protocol that predates tech lore, even shilling for it. And Matrix is an open standard, so I don't see what the issue is. If you can tell me what's the problem with Signal and the problem with Matrix, I would love to. I mean, you're on YouTube, which is objectively worse. And if Ubu can point out where we have zero democratic system, again, I've never said we are a democratic system. I've said we are both. We do have a democracy. I would love to for you to point to it. But tech support Andy, Signal is been proven and vetted in court cases and documents that they don't have any information. So I don't see the point. Matrix, the only thing that you can, I think it's being solved is perfect forward secrecy. Matrix is based. It's a protocol that is decentralized, so I don't see the issue. Um, it does have its problems, and also Matrix Techlore is irrelevant in this conversation. I think Techlore has good things to say, and they have good perspective on getting the general mass included into better security and privacy. And if you're against that, then whatever. I mean, like I said, be retarded. Nothing prevents you. But saying that we have no democracy in America is retarded. Let's see. Again, but in hindsight, if you think that Signal and Matrix are bad, I mean, tell me where I'm wrong. I was saying that it's the Constitution, probably us saying that it was. I was saying that it was a Constitution, probably the U.S. saying that it was a democratic society, that it wasn't a Constitution. No, I said they were both. We have democratic systems and we have a constitutional republic. Again, the constitutional republic is to protect against a tyrannical government, which you don't even think it exists. And a democracy is I vote on things that do change in my state. I personally vote on stuff, and when enough votes go in, it changes. How is that not democratic? Do you understand that? What do you understand the difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic? Because if you don't, then again, we can't even have this discussion. Again, this isn't a thing on politics. I did not say it was a democratic society. I said we have forms of democratic societies in our system. On a state level, you can go back. I even said, I have voted on things that have changed in my state on a democratic level. You said we are a constitutional republic. In plain, that your vote doesn't matter, and if you think your vote doesn't matter, then you are retarded. And again, it makes you look like it says you're wrong. So even if I was wrong, and if I said we're a complete democratic society and you're a constitutional republic, then you're wrong too. So it's not the W you think it is. No, I never said I was smarter than what other people think are. You're assuming that, and you're making baseless claims. This isn't a suffering issue. This is a you issue. You make the claim that there is an overruling government above our government, but we're a constitutional republic. At the base crosses, at the base of your claim, then a constitutional republic or a democratic republic wouldn't exist or matter. It doesn't matter what you think. Under your perspective, under your guidelines, under your ideology, this wouldn't matter if it existed or not. If you think that there is a government above all else, a shadow government, then it doesn't matter what you think, because it doesn't matter what we do. That's why if I sit there and say that we're a democratic public, you shouldn't care at the core fundamental. You're the one that brings politics into this, A. And B, even if, again, I'm going to reiterate this, if you think that there is a behind government, it doesn't matter what you think. You're literally saying the government can't control the weather, but there's literally documented from Vietnam. All right. Link me to where they control the weather. Link it. You're making the claim, not me. It's called the burden of proof. This isn't me thinking I'm smarter than you. You're making the claims. And again, I'm going to go back to what you just said. Your argument falls way off when you make the claim that there is a shadow government, but we're a constitutional republic. Do you realize how retarded that sounds? If we're a constitutional republic, it doesn't matter what we are. There's a shadow government. There's a government above our government. If there is, then it doesn't matter what we are. You shouldn't even have an opinion on a shadow government or on a constitutional republic or a democratic government. It should be irrelevant to you. But Operation Popeye. Yeah, you just keep saying Operation Popeye, but you're not linking me to the proof. Link me to the go to google.com, type in the link, and I'll read it. I've already been presented that this exists, by the way, and I've already read it. Just throwing it out there. I've already read it. The most that they did is that they made it rain. Do you even know what deep underground... Again, back to... You're avoiding the question. If you think that there is a shadow government, why do you acknowledge that the U.S. is a constitutional republic and or a democratic democracy? If you think that there's a shadow government, those two government systems should be irrelevant to you. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter what the U.S. Presents itself. And if you're going to keep avoiding that question, then this conversation is just like having a conversation with a wall. If you think that there's a tyrannical shadow government above all else, then me saying this is a democracy should be irrelevant to you. All of it should be irrelevant. You just go like, do you know what a deep underground military bases are? I don't care. This is why I don't talk politics with people, because they're retarded. But back to my point, if you think that there is a deep state, you should not care or even transcribe to the idea that we're a constitutional republic. You should actually just say that we're an authoritarian government. There's an authoritarian overload. The democracy and the republic doesn't exist. That makes your argument literally fall apart at every level. And then you come back to like, do you know what a deep underground military base is? It's just bonkers. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I address your issue, and then you're like, do you know what this is? Again, Operation Popeye. Okay. And me looking up something that you say, it doesn't also mean anything. I can literally type in weather weapons in Yandex. Again, that doesn't mean anything. You're not answering my point. You say that we're a constitutional republic. I say we're both, and your argument backwards, back to it is that we're a constitutional republic, but you don't believe that you don't believe in the government. You believe there's a higher power. You should have no opinion about what our system is. Our system should be irrelevant to you. Popeye was a military cloud seeding project carried out by the U.S., the Air Force during the Vietnam War. The highly classified program attempted to extend the monsoon season over specific areas in Ho Chi Minh to disrupt the North's military supplies by softening the road surface and causing landslides. The chemical weather modification program was conducted from Thailand to Cambodia to Vietnam and allegedly sponsored by the Secretary of State, the CIA, without authorization of the Secret Station, who categorically denied Congress had the program for the modifications. The report we're making in the sea outlines of the land iode silver iode deployed aircraft program that was developed, softening the road surface, causing landslides along roadways and washing out rivers. The goal of the operation is extended days into rainfall, about 30 to 45 days monsoon inflation. The 54th weathered recognized carried out operations slogan war, make my war, standing on November in Southeast Asia. Published a story in 71 concerning the Operation Popeye through the column. It was called Entering Column, entered the space with brief mention. Sources, all it did was tell me that they attempted it. It doesn't say that they did it. That's it. I mean, the Wikipedia, you took him a few too many vaccines when he was a baby, I assume. I can only... vaccines are irrelevant. Again, you make the claim that the government has a shadow overlord, but you acknowledge a constitutional republican democracy exists. So it just makes you look like you don't understand how the government works. I went to Operation Wikipedia Popeye, and it says it was an attempt. It doesn't even say that they it did it. So inside the again, you can't stay on topic because you have zero ground. It's like talking to a wall again. It's like I need a piano to play right now. This is why it's funny, because people have opinions about stuff, but anytime someone gives them pushback or calls them retarded, they lose their brain cells and just go to they just go to the insane degree. I think the government has an overreach, and there's an overlord behind them. But I also think we're a constitutional republic, and I don't think we're a democracy. Why should you care? I think that they can control the weather. Points me to a Wikipedia article. Goes to Wikipedia article. The reporter Jackson published a story concerning of Operation Popeye through his column, and it was called Intermediate. In the name Operation Popeye entered the public space through a brief mention. And that's it. There's no implementation. Thailand flew today. The aircraft is officially on weather reon missions for rotating operation. Yeah, there's no proof that they even executed it. You just pointed me to an Wikipedia article. Project Storm. Denied the and all the Congress did is Congress denied activity in it, which isn't fucking crazy. The United States government denies a lot of stuff. They deny a lot of things that they're involved in. That's not crazy. You don't know how the money system works, and you're going to say that it's irrelevant. Yeah, because the money system is irrelevant to what we're talking about. Again, you can't stay on topic because you think that we're again, back to the base of it. You think we're a constitutional republic. You don't think we're there's no democracy. You think your vote doesn't matter, but there's an overlording government above us. Then you should think none of these things. None of these things should be in your vocabulary. You shouldn't have an opinion on it. You just think that there's an overlording government. I should be able to walk into this conversation and say that we're retarded and we vote by flapjacks and cock, and you should just agree to it because or disagree with it regardless. That's the point. That's the point. It's like you have an opinion, but your like opinion goes above the government and thinks that there's no that you think that there's an overlord, but you acknowledge we're a constitutional republic. That's what makes your claim fall like apart. That's it. That's all it is. If there's an overlord government, it doesn't matter what system we have. It's that simple. And you think that you pointed to a Wikipedia article that doesn't prove anything. Again, link me to where the government has done this, and I'll read it. Autism, see, that's what I'm saying. Autism has nothing to do with this. You can be autistic and still right, so that doesn't mean anything. What does autistic have to do with you acknowledging we have a system based on the Constitution, based on a economic system, yet saying that there's a shadow overlord? Your ideas conflict with each other, like a person that doesn't know how to read. That's the point that I'm making. If you can't read, it's cool. I get it, man. There's nothing wrong with being dyslexic or illiterate. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I think it's like 20% in America is still illiterate. There's nothing wrong with it. I embrace retards online. It's like, and again, if you have an issue with our government and our system, and you don't think you can change anything, go to a country where you go to a country, go to another country. See how far you make it. I think we have one of the best systems in the world where we can have an opinion and criticize our government and have the First Amendment. And if you think otherwise, go somewhere else. Nothing prevents you from that. Zero things prevent you from this. Zero. You say your family, you say you have nowhere to go, but that's what a soy excuse person does. A person that's very soy, very excuse. And I love soy. A lot. It's just funny. I hate the government. I think there's an overlord, but I think that there's a system. And you're wrong about the system but me. But I have nowhere to go, and my family. Something about my family has heritage here, which is kind of funny. The heritage part is the funniest part. That is like... That's like... that's like someone that has a gym membership that they're like... I don't want to go to the gym because it requires me to move. I hate that I'm fat, but I don't want to move. And I have a gym membership. That's more funny. Oh, Dino against Dino. Oh man. Do I have haste? I do have haste. Oh man. Oopsies. I don't know if you're just playing along, and I don't know where you're sick mind, but you're really autistic, and I fucked up in the head either way. You're fucking retarded. Again, if you autism has nothing to do with this. And again, if you have an opinion about the government and you don't think you can change anything, go somewhere else. I know a few countries that are far worse and where you wouldn't be able to even remotely speak like this, and you can go there. Nothing's preventing you. I think that people that complain about their society and do nothing about it are the worst type of people. And I would rather be retarded than I would rather be retarded and quote unquote autistic instead of sitting there thinking that I can't change anything. I think that it's a lazy art. Like, you're just making like arguments that I would expect from like a 5-year-old. That's it. That's all it is. You think that the government's a constitutional republic and not democratic, but you think there's an overlord, so that should be irrelevant. You shouldn't think actually anything of the government. You should just think that there's an overlord. You don't think your vote matters, but you live in America and you have heritage here, which is kind of funny to say that you have heritage, but you won't vote because you don't think it matters, which is funny. You can't go anywhere else, which is funny. So if you can't go anywhere else, then, you know, chill, man. Do nothing. No one cares. When the next vaccine comes out for the next pandemic, please take it. All right, give me a date. Give me a date. Darwin also would call you retarded, by the way. I'm assuming you don't even understand what Darwinism is, coming from the fact that you think you think there's an overlord. Darwin shouldn't exist in your world. Darwin was a government psyop, by the way. Darwin was created by the government. Vaccines also come out all the time. Again, vaccines are irrelevant to this conversation. Like, you're the one that's bringing up the vaccine part, which is kind of weird. And it seems like maybe you took them. And if you did, that's fine. That's your choice. I don't care what people do with their body. It's not my business. And for a person that believes in freedom, you surely do have an opinion on if somebody takes a vaccine or not. You should embrace if people take vaccines or not. You should embrace people's freedom of choice, which I definitely do. I think people should be able to do what they want and what they want with their body. It's not my business. You want to take 15 vaccines? Be my guest. You don't want to take any? That's fine. That's within your right. I mean, if you want to go, I mean, you can think that it doesn't matter what we should have or what we should have done. Sure. I don't. What we should have done and what we ought to have done are two separate things. Again, I believe in freedom, so like I think people should be able to make their own decision. Sure. Yeah. Why not? Look, if you haven't taken your meds and you're having a meltdown, it's fine. Just get off the internet. Nothing's stopping you. Who am I to lose this one? Oh man! Damn, drummer boy wrecked me. Yeah, even if I blocked this, I'm losing. Oopsies. No. That's okay. Testing. I'm losing. Alright, chat. It's been real. I'm gonna finish the rest of the beer. It's fun arguing. I love it. It's funny. To me, it's funny. I will see you all later. Ooh, that's a new deck, I think. I need to check out.